Hi grade 12s and welcome to another lesson for fixed assets and ethics. And so now that we've spoken about ethics and what is considered as ethical behavior and unethical behavior, we're going to look into fixed assets and how to integrate that topic into this one. So first and foremost, we're going to do a little recap as to what fixed assets are, how we define them, and then how we are going to integrate it into the topic we did in the first two videos. So assets, fixed assets are assets which are purchased for long-term, which is the operative word, long-term use, and are not quickly converted into cash. Cannot be, quickly converted into cash. So your long-term assets, like we spoke about before in previous lessons, is if something is referred to as short-term, it can be converted to cash and sold or bought paid off in a space of 0 to 12 months. Whereas if it is long term, it takes longer than the period of 1 year to pay off that debt or sell that asset, right? Examples of land and buildings then would be, examples of fixed assets would then be land, buildings, equipment. So like I said, anything that is needed in a business that will take a longer period of time to convert to cash, like the definition states, is then regarded as a fixed asset, right? So in the subdivisions, we then have the age of the assets, right? So how long have you had the assets in your business? And this is something that we take into consideration when we are calculating things like depreciation, and this only would apply to equipment, because we know, and I'll explain why it does not apply to land and buildings in the next portion, right? So this would go into depreciation, the calculation of depreciation, replacement rate. So this is something that we consider when it is time to, when the business decides they're ready to get rid of specific equipment. So we'd have to then calculate the rate at which we can replace a specific machine or specific type of equipment and get new equipment. The lifespan sort of also correlates with the age and the replacement rate, which is how long will the fixed asset be useful and valuable in our company. My bad, all of that, yes. Useful in our company, all right? And then we'll come back, we are now back to considering the GAAP principles again, because like I said, those principles are relevant in almost all the topics of accounting which you're going to study. And so with the generally accepted principles, I was going to explain to you why depreciation doesn't account to land and buildings, because land and buildings appreciate, right? And that is why we record them at historical cost, right? So that's why I'm just going to write that there for you. So most of these things are things you should remember and keep in mind for when you have theory questions that then require for you to justify things like this. And then for ethics, we then consider whether these fixed assets were acquired ethically. Are they being used ethically? There was, when we were discussing ethics in the last video, we did discuss the unethical or unprofessional use of business equipment. And so this is where ethics and internal controls, also like internal controls are considered. And then you'll have internal audits as well, and internal audits are then to check, like I said, the internal controls that govern or run or operate around fixed assets. And so this is basically the overview of how fixed assets are presented, what they look like, and how they are dealt with in the accounting realm. So what you will see most of, what is most occurring in your exams, is calculations for depreciation and calculations for, and explanations or theory questions based on the GAAP, ethics, and internal controls. And so you just have to keep all of that in mind, but it is not a very complicated topic, because it's you sort of deal with most of the fixed asset calculations when you are dealing with your financial statements, and they will come in adjustments And then you can also start to look into interpretation of all of the results you get in terms of your current ratios that is dealing with part of fixed assets, your acid test ratio. All of these things are linked and joined. Yeah, so this is the only information you need to know as for now. I will elaborate in the last video for this lesson. I hope that this helped you, and I hope that it will continue to help you in your studies, and I hope that you understood all of the things I said. Other than that, happy studying and thank you for watching. Bye.